Good morning, and just wanted to thank you all for staying. We're going to be still doing some of the body systems approach and following up with what we were doing 2 weeks ago. So I am still testing positive and did not want to share COVID with anyone. So I'm here in my basement, and thank you for staying to be a part of the class today. So in our body system, today we're going to combine 3 of them, and they're all within this area. So we're starting at the root, the base, which is really the pelvic floor, the tailbone, and then from there down, it's our legs, our knees, our ankles, and our feet that are included in the root body system, or the root chakra, you might hear. And then next is the sacral, or if you want to think about the SI, sacroiliac joint, the lumbar and sacral area of the lower back, and then the front part of the body, which is actually the reproductive organs, excuse me, the bladder and the bowel, and the lower intestines. And so any postures that are hip openers are going to be beneficial for the sacral body system. And then the next one is the solar plexus, which is really like from the belly button to the bottom of the rib cage. It's all of that core musculature, the abdominal organs that are in that area of our body, the liver, the pancreas, stomach, intestines. And it also includes the diaphragm, which is the big muscle that goes horizontally right below the rib cage, is supporting the lungs. And this one is especially personal to me because that's the area of Mike's body that was really damaged in the car accident he was in. And how important when we use belly breathing and engage the belly lock in yoga, that is incorporating diaphragmic breathing as well as those core abdominal muscles that we bring in. So in the root and the sacral and the solar plexus body systems, which are really, if you think about from your feet to your pelvic floor is the root, but the pelvic floor to the bottom of the ribs, there's a lot going on right there. And with breathing, there's the belly lock and the root lock. That is the muscle contraction. When you pull in, or if you want to think about, they're called bandhas, or literally like bands that you create, or a lock of a dam, how it controls and internalizes the energetic flow within that area, kind of like it's pumping as well. So it's stirring up and stimulating circulation in those parts of our body. And then, of course, with the solar plexus, I forgot to mention, yoga poses that are beneficial, any of our twists, spinal twists, planks are so good for strengthening the core. Dolphin pose, spinal balance, back bends, and then, of course, even just a cousin of yoga is Pilates, and anything that strengthens the core is going to be included in a Pilates practice. And then sometimes you might even have a combination Pilates with yoga and Pilates. And then with our colors, the bottom one is red, then the middle is orange, and then yellow. And the elements that they represent: earth with the root, and of course with our feet touching the floor, and any leg postures that strengthen the legs, that connection to the earth or grounding. And then with the sacral and just the digestive system, not digestive, but the, my brain is blank. I'm sorry. It's with the flowing out of the body, the fluidity and water is represented, including within our bladder and kidneys working in this area. And then in the solar plexus, the element being fire and the color yellow. And then, of course, there are different foods that are reds and oranges and yellows that the ancient yogis would say are beneficial to those body systems, and even anything that reflects some of the shapes they might associate with that. So, with the reds, even the root crops that grow in the ground are beneficial for the root body system. The orange and yellows, oranges being any of the sweet potatoes and pumpkins and carrots, uh, your citrus fruits that are orange, and then in the yellow groups, of course, the lemons, bananas and oranges, or pineapple, curries, and corn, and then the oils that are beneficial. Anything, again, in those colors, food wise, like orange oil, um, the citrus oils, anything spicy, aromatic, ginger, lemongrass, cardamom, black pepper really are beneficial for that solar plexus area. Sandalwood and patchouli were also included, and ylang ylang and the sacral one. And then with the root, the woody ones like cedarwood, frankincense, myrrh, spikenard, and vetiver. So those have a very strong woody aroma and very earthy, almost sometimes even it's kind of a muddy smell in some of those. Excuse me. So I will be leading us through a practice with standing and lots of leg work and core work, and then we will do some stretches on our back. So let's go ahead and get started standing in mountain pose, and hoping I don't cough too much. That just seems to be my main symptom. So as we start standing in mountain pose, just take time to acknowledge our feet and just kind of do a little body scan. Walk in place, coming up onto your tippy toes, and even that coming onto our tippy toes, you feel the back of the toes. This is also a nice time to foot massage with a tennis ball. Massaging the feet is a great way to start off our practice. Maybe even step one foot behind you and press the top of your toes towards the floor. So it's kind of like a lunge stance, but it's also going to lengthen the top of the toes, the top of the feet. You can switch and do the other side. I'll turn this way. So the top of your toes are pressing into your mat, which is an area we don't often stretch simply because we're wearing shoes, and shoes protect the top of our feet. And then come into balancing on all four corners. Lift the toes, but feel the inner and outer corner of the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, which is part of our foundational standing. It's a dynamic standing when we relax the toes but still keep the arches lifting, and how that fires up into the legs. So even just a really intentional, dynamic mountain pose standing, with the legs working, and can even feel inner thighs kind of spiraling out. Can feel that work in the SI, the low back. Open out the palms. So our hand position that is beneficial for the root is just like the A-OK. Doing this. So sometimes I'll do that even throughout a practice, because there's that connection, the nerve endings and the meridians that are in our hands, and how that stabilizes. So even in a root awareness type position. We're going to stimulate more balance. Let's inhale for mountain pose. Reach the arms tall. Take our gaze up. Exhale, prayer hands into heart. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, we're lifting tall. Exhaling, hands into heart. And again. Exhale. Bring your fists into the lower back. Squeeze the glutes, press down into the feet. Taking our gaze up. And then a half forward fold. Exhaling here. Finding lots of length in the back of the legs, behind the knees. Maybe even walk in place here. And then a gentle forward fold. Hugging elbows, can move a little side to side. Downward facing dog, bringing our hands shoulder width apart, step the feet back. Walk in place here in down dog. Maybe find length again in the back, behind the knees. Maybe even raise your foot, raise your leg from the hip like you want to monster walk. Just awakening that area, lifting, almost like you have a strap lifting up or a pulley pulling up into that leg. Good. So just find that awakening, awareness, intention. And then let's come into our plank pose and hold. Plank. Create some warmth. Squeeze the glutes. Draw the belly in. Fingers spreading wide. Let's let our knees come to the mat and flow into a kneeling crocodile. Squeeze elbows in. Lower the belly to the mat. And then on our inhale, we're going to come up into cobra pose, lengthening the front body. So feel your toes. Feel those toenails, the top of the feet, the ankles, connecting all the way up the legs. And then let's exhale it back to child's pose. Maybe moving in child's pose or just keeping the arms extended and still. And then we're walking both arms over to the right side of the mat. Left arm over the left ear. And a side body stretch. And then over to the other side. And exhale as we settle into that stretch. As we come back to center, let's move to all fours and cat-cow. And cat-cow, start to really, not just the movement, the exhaling, the inhaling, and it's a nice flow, it's a feel-good flow, it's easy. Moving up and down the spine, so think about your tailbone, that's the root. And then the next vertebrae there, the lumbar, the sacral, and then it starts moving up into our mid-back, into the thoracic spine. And then let's incorporate our emphasis with breathing. Exhaling, cat pose. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling cat. And inhaling cow. And maybe even add a little ha. Exhale. Ha. Give it a voice. Inhaling cow pose. Exhaling cat. Ha. Inhaling cow. Exhale cat. Ha. Ha. Giving it a voice. And exhale. Go ahead and neutralize the spine and come into spinal balance. Right leg, left arm. Extending. So here we add in some core work, squeezing, drawing the belly in, holding, breathing. And then release. We're switching sides. Left leg, right arm. Squeeze, hold. Find those abdominals. And then still breathing. And then we're coming back to all fours. Cat and cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. From a neutral back, curl the toes under. Hovering with a little anticipation. Slowly lifting. We're drawing the belly in. Exhale to down dog. And in our down dog, let's monster walk. So lift with a straight leg and step forward. Lift at the hip, at the low back. And just slowly come forward to a forward fold. And exhaling into forward fold. And wherever that is for you, maybe it's with the legs straight, maybe it's the knees bent, rounding over. Any of these are beneficial. And we get to listen to our bodies. We get to customize what is best in your low back, in your legs, in the hips. What areas are communicating with you today? Start to inhale, sweep the arms tall, coming up into mountain pose. Exhale, let's come into chair. Take the hips back. We're thinking about the hips. We're stacking knees over ankles, bringing prayer hands into heart. Balance on all four corners of the feet. You've heard all of these things before, and now we know a little deeper awareness of the benefits. As we're twisting to the right side, draw the belly in. The spine gets a nice twist. Those abdominal organs get a little detox benefit. Maybe add a shoulder opener. Oh, that feels so nice. Back to center. And let's switch sides in our chair. Twist to the left. And again, maybe it's a squishy twist if you get your ribs down into your legs, into the top of the thighs. And add your shoulder opener. Heart space nice and open from the center of the heart. Open up that left side and then release. Forward fold. Check out your feet. Maybe raise your toes and the balls of your feet if that's available to you. A little deeper stretch. Slowly reverse your swan dive to mountain pose. As we stand tall, inhale, let's exhale and step right foot back with a lunge, heel lifted, and fists of fire. So calmly inhaling, lifting the arms, big full breath. Exhale, draw your belly button in, strong, bringing the arms, the fists in towards the belly. Fists of fire. Inhaling and lifting. Exhale, bring it in. Do two more. As you take in the elbows back, can squeeze shoulder blades. Maybe take your gaze up, challenging your balance. Maybe follow the movement of the arms so you have a moving focal point. One more. And exhale. Squeeze the belly in. Pressing down into the legs. The more we activate the legs, the more benefit there. Coming into a warrior one stance, feet are flat. Feel that connection to our earth. Add the arms out wide, taking our gaze up. Maybe even just that little A-OK. We'll open out the arms, pivot the right foot out wide to warrior two. I need to switch directions on my mat. And then taking our gaze over left hand. Reverse. Keep that strong stance, lower body, the legs. We're not just standing here hoping we don't slide on our mat. We're really actively pressing down into the feet. Feel where that travels in our legs. And then slowly come into a side angle, bringing our left arm down to the thigh, right arm open and reach. Lifting. Maybe even add a little wrap if you want to reach behind. Or left hand, maybe coming a little deeper. That option is up to you. If you want to bring that hand down to the floor, but let's still open. Maybe even a shoulder opener here. Or if you want to practice the wrap we were working on a month ago, can reach under. So let this left shoulder come closer to the floor as you reach under. But then we want to open it up and find where your hips are in line again. The whole spine and shoulder alignment. You can add a hand towel if you want to use it as a strap. Or just lots of openness. As we turn and pivot to straddle stretch, you can use your block here if you want to help the arms be a little bit longer. And let's anchor our feet. I love finding lots of work here in a straddle stretch. The belly, the abdominal. Squeeze the belly in. Maybe find that root lock. When you're belly breathing, squeeze and draw in pelvic floor. Good job. We'll start to bring our feet in, heel toe, to the center. Forward fold. And then reverse your swan dive, sweep arms tall. Inhale and exhale, prayer hands to heart. We're coming back to our lunge with fists of fire. Let's take the left foot back, heel lifted, and then really find your rooting down, your grounding in your feet, where that travels. Maintaining the strength in this bottom body pose as we add the arms. Exhale, squeeze in, elbows back, lift the heart. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, maybe sink a little deeper. So find where you can really bring the belly in. And then let your heel come flat. Warrior one, bringing the arms up. Hold. Maybe take your gaze up. Okay. Then let's open out to warrior two. I'm switching my ends on the mat. With the left leg in back, right leg in front. And then reach tall, reverse. Again, strong legs. Keep that same strong stance in our legs. And then side angle. Can open and reach. Maybe sink a little deeper here. Can reach under or bring your right hand inside. Left leg can also use a block here. Just to even get a little more openness. You want to really find that straight line of shoulder to hip, the spine, and not rounding forward and compromising the sideways, that horizontal or lateral openness of the right shoulder to left shoulder. Maybe even if you want to try going deeper into that wrap, explore if you want to use your hand towel here. And then as we come out of this, we're going to turn, straddle stretch again. Option with our block, making arms longer, and breathe. Find where you can draw your belly in. Lengthen the legs, maybe even just a little lift of the tailbone. And you find a more taut, a toning of lifting and lengthening pelvic floor. So from here, let's bring the feet in, heel toe, heel toe. Come down to all fours, cat and cow. Same thing, pelvic floor, starting neutral. And then as we exhale into cat pose, the pelvic floor is like a hammock. And it's just kind of more relaxed and kind of folding in. Then as we move into cow and lift the tail and lift the head, it's more taut. There's more lengthening of the tissue, of the muscles and the skin, the folds, all of that. Finding more length. Release and then lengthen. Or tuck the tail and then lift the tail. So whatever cue helps you with what is most beneficial to you in your body today. Lots of emphasis here on the root. Let's go ahead and move into coming onto our backs. A yoga crunch with the knees bent, and we'll just interlace fingers behind the head. And exhaling, lifting just a few inches and hold. Inhale back to the mat. Exhale and lift. Inhale back. Exhale, lifting. Squeeze the belly in. And back down. Just do about 5 or 6 of those on your own at your own pace. Really isolating that movement in the abdominals. Keep the back secure. Keep the neck supported. And then we'll take our legs straight up in the air. Lower the right leg and cross right elbow to left knee with a leg lift and a little twist. Exhale, left elbow to right knee. And then switch sides. One more each side. Bringing our knees in, give yourself a big hug. Can rock a little side to side. Bringing our feet back to the mat. Press down into the feet. Rise and lift the glutes. Lift your hips. Squeeze as we come into bridge pose. Lots of options here. Can keep hands flat or maybe even support the hips or interlace fingers and chest expansion, arms pressed down into outside edges of the shoulders. Keep squeezing the glutes, pressing down into the feet. Feel where that's working in the legs. Not just the hips, not just the glutes, not just the pelvic floor. Slowly roll back onto the mat and give your knees another hug. Can rock a little side to side. And then we'll cross right ankle to left knee in a figure four. Thread right arm through the middle and reach left hand around behind. Flexing our feet. We're protecting our knees. Can stay here. Or maybe even add a little more leg extension with left leg or a big toe hold. So what is available, what feels good to you today in this wonderful hip beneficial pose. Sciatica, this one's extremely beneficial for sciatica. Getting into that deep six hip, the muscles surrounding the hip joint. And then let's go and take that into our twist. So maybe you want to do the figure four twist with the right ankle outside left knee. Or if that feels like you want to soften it, maybe stack both knees to your left side and open out right arm. Or the left leg can be straight. So just find the twist that feels good today to you in your body. That awareness, attention, listening to our bodies. Our bodies are excellent communicators. And come back to center. And just get ready to switch sides. Hug knees in the middle. And then cross over left ankle, right knee. Okay. Start here in our figure four. Left hand through the middle, can reach behind, maybe even use a hand towel here if you'd like to have it as a little strap to make the arms longer. Maybe even add extension with a big toe hold. Just let your breath soften. Move into those spaces in the belly. Rather than trying to force deeper into a stretch, let the relaxation response do its work. And then we'll take both knees to the right side, whether it's a figure four, stacked knees, or right leg extended. Just find your twist, your spinal twist. And as we come back to center, give yourself another hug. Extend the left leg, rest it on the mat. And a half butterfly or tree pose on our back. We're bringing right foot inside the left leg. Maybe open out the arms, goalposts, or just out wide or up towards the head. What feels good in tree pose today? And our hand position can even be prayer hands low. So like your thumbs, the base of your thumbs touching around your belly button, between your belly button to your ribs. That is the hand position for the solar plexus. Feel your breath entering the belly as you inhale. It settles as you exhale. So those reminders help us with knowing where we are in our bodies, and then within our practice, the benefits of what we're doing, beyond exercise in the physical realm. What's beneficial to the internal organs, what's beneficial to our minds and our hearts. So there's basic rights that are associated with each one. Like the right to be here, our basic identity, the right to create and be creative, to live life joyfully, and the right to act. Self-discipline is connected with our solar plexus. Just that ability to take action and move forward. We'll start to switch our legs. So we'll bring the right leg long, left knee in, and then find your tree pose or butterfly, half butterfly. Arms can start out wide, sinking. Just let yourself melt into your mat. If you want to bring in the prayer hands and feel from the bottom of your ribs to about your belly button where our breath travels. And then from here, just finding a final resting pose, resting on our backs. And as you come to a comfortable position on your back, maybe scanning your body, start with your feet. How do your feet feel today? You can curl your toes and then release. Just that progressive muscle relaxation that travels, and being aware of just the muscle activation when we clench and contract different muscle groups where that travels all throughout the body. From our feet can come to the low back, to the glutes, and activate. Hold for a few counts and then soften and relax. And with our hands, we can squeeze, making tight fists. And release and relax, one finger at a time. And our face, clenching the jaw, the teeth. Squinting our eyes. Hold on to some tension and then let it go. Just let it start to melt away and feel the difference. Feel the sensation of the physical muscle contraction as well as the release. And then how that just softens everything mentally. Just take a few minutes, continuing to rest here in a final resting pose. So the different elements in our homes, just while we're resting here, some other thoughts that we can bring into our practices off the mat. In the root or the element with the earth, with the root body system, just getting outdoors or bringing the outdoors in. And then to bring, we'll see it in brick and stone, natural fibers and ceramics, but we can also lighten that with wood, with plants or metal curves. Anything that shapes that hold energy, like rectangles and squares, are things that symbolize the root body system. And then with the sacral, anything like water, fluidity, symbolizing movement, even drapes that are flowy or a water fountain that creates the sound of water flowing, and just even the downward sloping of furniture are ways that we can bring more of that element into our homes. And the solar plexus, this one is fun. Lights, tea lights, starbursts, anything that's pointy, triangular edges, even trees, which of course we have a Christmas tree at this season. And stars are very popular right now. And then bringing in pyramids, diamonds. We need more diamonds in our lives. Pointy edges, even trees and plants that are tall and pointy looking, and hot spicy foods and hot teas. And that helps to allow us to continue to have new ideas and energize the efforts that we're putting into those new ideas. So as you start to move to a sideline position, just take your time. We'll come up to seated. And our last hand position that I wanted to introduce is with the sacral, where the hand's just resting in our lap. So the left hand is on the bottom and the right hand is on top, with the palms up and just let your thumbs touch. So we create like a little bowl, and the idea of the pelvic bowl is part of the sacral chakra or the body system. So as we think about these being bowls, our hands are serving bowls, and this is a time of serving comfort and joy. And this is a day or a moment that you have chosen to take care of yourself, even by coming to class. And in turn, we'll be taking care of others and serving bowls of comfort and joy throughout this season. So just thinking about kind of a quick review, we've talked about the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. Everything from really our feet, our legs, to the pelvic floor in the first area, the sacral, the lower belly, and then the upper belly and the solar plexus. And just the awareness of taking care of ourselves and listening to our bodies, strengthening and finding some fun ways to incorporate not only into our yoga practice, but into our homes and in the season around us. So as we just end with some head rolls, we'll circle our head one direction and then the other. Just slowly take your time. We talked about the throat body system a week ago Wednesday. Well, that is like our ears, nose, and throat area, the neck, and the cervical spine. Finding our voice, or giving it a voice, like when we're breathing and say, ah. Come back to center. And then we're inhaling, lifting the arms tall. And exhale, prayer, hands into heart. And thank you. And have a blessed day. Thank you for staying.